What's up? I've been contemplating on doing this video for a while. I thought about doing it like a month ago or so, but I don't know. I just got done working out. That's why I look sweaty, but I just felt like doing it tonight. But basically, I just wanted to give you my testimony on what's going on, why I accepted Jesus as my father or my savior. So I don't really know where to start. Basically, I'll just start at when I was younger, I was just like I had a lot of fun, no worries or anything like that. I just no care in the world. I mean, my childhood wasn't like easy like at home, but I didn't really care about that stuff. I just I didn't really care. I just was happy to be alive and like do whatever I wanted, you know. But elementary school went by fine. And I went to middle school. I decided to go to a Christian middle school, and I mean it was cool, you know. My family never had anything to do with God or anything like that. So I went there, learned some things. I didn't really get anything out of it. Looking back, I heard the word, but I didn't use it in my life. So I was like, my pastor, he said, once you get into high school, he goes, you're gonna switch because everything around you. I'm explaining this bad, but basically, I got into high school or out of Christian middle school, and I had a chip on my shoulder. So, I put all over like, oh, I love Jesus, like I love God. But freshman, sophomore year, I developed like some anxiety, and I had never had that. So like I think my freshman year, I went home, had an anxiety attack, didn't know what that was, and just scarred me, you know, like literally couldn't sleep in my own room freshman year of high school. I forgot how long I went, probably a year with it, and finally I went to a counselor, and she tried helping, and it helped temporarily, but she told me these things to help. I got on medication, said it helped, and then I think I got off of it. You know, it helped, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm good to go now. And then I got to senior year, and here I'm still trying to tell people that I live for Christ and all this stuff. I didn't do a lot of partying and stuff. Never did that stuff. You know, I always talked about like going to the gym and like living this healthy lifestyle and like doing everything for yourself, cut the world off. But senior year comes, and I don't know what switched, but I always wanted to fit in high school. And if you knew me in high school, it was totally fake. Unless I hung out with you outside of it, maybe I just wasn't real to you, probably. And I apologize for that, because it was a bad thing. Because here I am saying, oh yeah, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but then I started hanging out with probably not the people I should be hanging around with. I drank for the first time, I think, summer going into senior year. And, you know, it's in my family, so I'm like, okay. And then I smoked for the first time, and, you know, felt fun. It was cool. I felt pretty cool. So, okay. So then, you know, I went the rest of the summer without doing that again. And then I think a New Year's party on my senior year, I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, I just went crazy, you know, got drunk, smoked weed that night, just just trying to fit in, trying to put worldly things in to me, try to fill me. I always said, oh, once I get this girl, I'll be happy. Once I'm accepted into the popular group in high school, then I'll be happy. Once I get shredded, once I'm the best at the sports that I do, everyone will like me, then I'll be happy. But I tried that and I failed every time. Literally, I'd get close to my goals and then something would happen, either an injury or something. I would quit. So I started drinking and partying. Not partying so much. I went to some more than I had been, and probably this last year I went to Texas to play baseball. Lived really comfortably, our own house. I mean, you know what college kids do, so I think down there I didn't have God in my life at all. I don't live in comfortably. I don't need. I'll do this myself. I got this. So guy gets drinks, and I'm drinking like just dumb stuff. I think I definitely dealt with depression, trying to fit in. So on the weekends, it was like, okay, the weekend's here. Let's drink or smoke this stuff away. So anything I could get my hands on, it'd go down. I don't care. I didn't care what it was. If it was hard, I would drink it. Didn't chase it, nothing. It was just drink it. Started smoking. I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of cool. Felt, the first few times you feel weird and cool. So this COVID hit, and I found out I had to go home. And I got back and, pretty much just let myself go. Started eating crappy. Didn't work out. I couldn't work out. And me and my friend, I feel bad because I was like, dude, like every week, dude, let's drink. Let's get some drinks or something, dude. Find somebody that can get us some alcohol. Let's buy some weed or go smoke some weed. And, I did that for the first few weeks, and I planned on it from Texas. I'm like, oh, when I get back, I'm gonna just party and everyone's gonna like me and it's gonna be awesome. And I'd get drunk with my friend, put 10 girls on my Snap, send a message, see if I could get some responses. I'm so sorry if that was you. All I did was look at girls with lust. In high school, and it totally takes away from love, what love is. And that's just, I've been praying, don't let me look at girls like that. That's not fair to them. I feel terrible for even doing that, but in the moment, it was whatever, because everyone's doing it, and so then I started, when COVID, I was posting about Jesus, oh yeah, don't fear, we're good. I wasn't living for him, not at all. So I started smoking a lot, and my anxiety picked back up. I was off medication for a year and a half probably, and my anxiety starts kicking up at night, and I'm like, oh my God, not this again. And I don't know if you've ever experienced anxiety, but it's hard to understand if you haven't gone through it. But you're in bed, your mind's wrestling with something, and when you try to shut it off, it just keeps going. And some nights I didn't fall asleep until my brain was so worn out. And then you wake up 2 hours later when the sun rises, and the rest of your day is just hell. And I was like, okay, I don't really know how to deal with this. I think my friend could probably vouch for me. I started getting really angry. Just really angry at everything. Really selfish. I mean, I got a handicapped brother named Hunter. God bless him. I mean, he's probably kept me and my family online more than anyone. But so I started getting angry, and I didn't really recognize it, but like it got to this one point where I was smoking pretty regularly, and one friend, I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but he's like, "Hey, start smoking with me." I was like, "Okay." So we'd smoked a few times, and I had like a lot of fun. So then one day I was getting pretty heavy onto it, and he's like, "Hey, come smoke later." And I was like, "Okay." And then he texts me and he goes, "Hey, I can't smoke tonight. I couldn't get it." And I just was so mad. And like I just remember being all pouty with my best friend playing video games, and I was just so mad. So I was like, "Oh, then let's try to drink or something." And we couldn't do that, so I just went home, had the worst, just having anxiety. And like just nightmares, like stuff you can't even like I can't even remember the nightmares because like I don't want to remember them, but literally like nothing felt real, and like you almost get numb, and that was the scariest part. And then flash forward, I remember the date, June 25th, 2020. That same friend that couldn't smoke hits me up and he goes, "Let's smoke." And I heard this voice in my head that said, like, "Don't go do that. Like, don't go smoke tonight." And I'd never heard that. And I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do what I want." And I went there. I took my best friend. We smoked. I smoked a lot, apparently. I got videos for it at the house. Just smoked a ton. And I remember we left, and I was just so high, like I was in slow motion, and we're driving to McDonald's, of course, and my friend's like paranoying me. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna hit the car, And I was like trying to just not hit a car, and then it's like 2 a.m, and then I go past a cop high, and I'm like, oh, just like this fear, like you're like, you know how you get paranoid, and like my stomach just dropped, and sorry, my stomach just dropped, and I remember ordering at McDonald's with just fear, just shaking. I'm like, dude, the cop's gonna come back. And then I remember coming back to my friend's house, winding down, watching, like, I think we watched Bad News Bears, and you know how you're all mellow, and so I watched it, went home, slept normal for once, because that's what was taking my anxiety away. So the next day I woke up and everything was normal, but I think I was still kind of high, and my little niece was over, and she goes, "There's a little girl that sits in the corner of your house and stares at you guys for eternity." And I was like, like the first thing was like, "Oh, that's an imaginary friend," but like when you're a little high, you're like, what? Like, what do you mean there's a little girl staring at me? So it kind of freaked me out and left me with an unpleasant feeling. So like later that day I went to the gym, and I think God had been trying to get to me for a while, and I was ignoring him. And then I turned on this video of like something to accept Jesus at the gym, and I was like, I don't want to watch this at the gym, and I shut it off and turned on some rap music, and it like snapped. My reality, like what you normally see, was altered. I felt like I was in a video game. I live in Rochelle, Illinois, and I couldn't even recognize that I was in my hometown. I remember a guy coming up to me at the gym talking to me, going, I don't remember the conversation at all, because I was just in fear of, like, I didn't recognize anyone. I couldn't comprehend who my parents were. It was like I was cut off from reality. It was like the corner of my body was like in the gym watching me, and I kept lifting, and I could lift so heavy. Like, I could not feel anything. I could lift, I could pick anything up and just lift it, no pain, nothing. And finally, like, I just felt, I took some Snapchat pictures of myself, and I think I said, like, I'm having the weirdest anxiety of my life, nothing feels real, and I feel like I'm about to lose my mind. I felt in the gym like I was gonna have a crazy moment where I just lost my mind. That's how bad it was. So I come home. This is like, it's like traumatic almost, because I like feeling stuff, being able to feel reality. I come home. I didn't tell my mom. My mom thinks I was an angel. And she didn't know I had smoked the night before or anything like that. So I come home. She's like, "How you doing?" And I didn't say anything. I just kept walking. I was like, okay. I think I read that, like, if you're high, like, to take a cold shower. So I put it all the way on cold, could not feel anything, could not feel the water. I took a shower, all cold, no warm water. I couldn't even feel the water. Oh, that's like the scariest thing I've ever had. And the next night, I went to my cousin's to stay the night because I was like, maybe I just need to get out of the house. And I still couldn't comprehend stuff. I had short-term memory. And people are going to say, well, that was the weed. You smoked some good stuff. But you'll see why I disagree soon. So I go to his house, and I just feel terrible. I just don't feel good, like, mentally, and, like, trying to act happy, but I couldn't comprehend anything. Like, my reality did not feel real, and that scared me. So I had this dream at his house. Well, but I didn't fall asleep till 6 a.m. that night. So I have this dream while I'm at his house, and another scary thing. My dreams felt more real than real life at that time. So I couldn't wait to fall asleep. So I had this dream where I was driving and I could feel my mind being lost. And then it's almost like my car's getting pulled down. It was a nice day out. My car's getting pulled. This was real on everything. My car's getting pulled down, like, into the earth, like hell. And I'm yelling, like just screaming for somebody to help me. And everyone's just walking by, not, like, just happy. And here I'm going down to this, I don't know what it is. And I woke up and I got like a 45-minute sleep, and then I was supposed to go. Then I had to go do a 10 to 12 hour move job at some lady's house, and it was just the worst thing. So finally I came home and told my mom, like, I'm mentally not good right now. And then I was just in such a bad spot. I was bed rest in her room. I would not go in my room. I do not know why. My room just felt uneasy for a week. I did not eat for a week. I've never done that. I wouldn't eat, barely talked. I felt numb. I felt scared to get on my phone. And that's not who I was ever. So finally one day I got up to eat, and I think it was July 3rd, and I just had the worst mental breakdown ever. I tried crying because, like, for, like, relief, and I could not cry. And that's, like, one of the worst feelings, like, when you can't feel emotion like that. And I felt hopelessness. Like, I'll never be normal again. I'll never, like, I just had to go smoke that weed and ruin my life right there. And here my parents are trying to help me. They've always usually been able to help me in the past. They couldn't help me. Drugs couldn't help. Anxiety medication couldn't help. So finally, I reached out to my aunt, and she's got a really close relationship with Jesus. God bless her. And I was like, hey, like, I need to talk to you now. But she was driving home from Mississippi, so I had to wait a day, and I was like, I don't know if I can make it that long before I end up in the loony bin. I know this story sounds crazy. It is. But I'm actually glad it happened. Because I went to her house, started telling her what's going on. And she said, well, one, your weed could have been laced, which I think it could have been. But then she starts telling me how, I'm living this life of sin, I'm doing all this. Like, I don't know if you believe in demons or not, but she said stuff attaches itself to objects. And like movies and the music you listen to, all your subconscious mind. And I talked to her for like 3 hours. And I'm still in this bad state of mind. Like, I barely remember. I remember that conversation. And finally she goes, do you want to give your life to Christ? And like, I was just desperate. And I was like, yeah. So she prayed over me. I repeated some words, gave my life to Christ. And like another snap, I'm not kidding you. I'm not just making this up. My reality went back to normal. And I couldn't stop smiling. And I went home just smiling. I was like, okay, try to stop smiling. And like, I just kept smiling. I couldn't stop. And it was like the greatest like feeling of joy I ever had. And I've never even felt that like ever. And I came home and my parents were there and they know the state of mind I was in. And they saw me come in smiling and they're like, what happened to you? And I was like, oh, I just gave my life to Christ. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I feel a lot better. And literally from that time on, I've not had a panic attack. I've not had a panic attack. I've had anxiety, but I've not had a panic attack because I'm learning right now that that's the enemy trying to get in my head. And so I accepted Jesus into my heart. I read his word. I need to read it more than I do, but that's my armor. And like, some people won't believe me. I'll definitely lose friends. I'm okay with that because it says in the Bible, I'd rather be judged by the world than be judged from God. It's like, I don't care. Like, you can unfriend me, do whatever. I hope I can help somebody, to be honest. Because like, another thing I struggle with was porn addiction. And literally, when I gave my life to Christ, like, broke a chain, dude. Like, I had no desire to do it. And, I've fallen since then a few times, and I felt condemned. I was like, okay, I'm not good enough to do this. And that's not true. There's a lot of evil in this world, but there's also a lot of good. And you can pick which one you want. Like, I see tweets like a lot of, it's not just girls, but I see a lot of girls that I know about tweeting how they're depressed. And then I see like, just like, I see what they do in their lives. And like, I have this point of view, like, oh, I see I see why they feel that way, but a lot of people don't like to hear it. And I just pray that like, you guys accept Jesus into your heart. Cause like, I have been searching for all this fulfillment, trying to fit in. And like, I'd get close, I'd have moments, and I never felt fulfillment like that until I gave my life to Christ. And then now I feel like I actually have something to do in this world. I always tried to make everything about me, but now it's, okay, Jesus already died on the cross for me. Now what can I do through him? What can I do to help others? And that's all I want to do, is help others. And I don't know. I just hope this could help somebody. I'm sure I'm missing parts of the story. Maybe I could post it again. But like, if you have questions about anything, like, just hit me up for real. And I don't know, but I mean, God's grace is powerful, and we all have free will to accept them or not. And His mercy is just amazing. So if you ever need to talk about anything, just let me know. God bless y'all.